I just want to go ahead on the record and say for every J6er that I'm incarcerated with here in D.C. and every J6er that I've encountered along the way, we vastly and overwhelmingly do not align or agree with ex-President Obama's policy or politics. At the same time, none of us, absolutely none of us, wish any ill will or harm on his family. It is not indicative to who we are. Even though we disagree politically, we do not agree with the actions of Taylor Taranto. And while there was one individual that has labeled him a patriot, I will say that we strongly disagree with that. We do not wish any ill will on ex-President Obama or any other far-left Democrats, even though at times they really upset us and we strongly disagree with them. We do not wish any harm on them, and we do not consider Taylor Taranto's actions patriotic whatsoever. And I know that there might be some on the left that say, oh, well, you're a hypocrite, and I will argue back with no, we're not, because we did not bring bombs and guns to the Capitol, as we all well know, nor would we ever. And again, this individual is not a patriot. He is not a January 6er. Those that defend and align with this individual, who has come out and admitted he is part of Antifa, we simply just do not co-sign that notion. And on that day, we stuck together, and we literally defended ourselves. And that's all I'll comment on the situation, especially on this recorded line, that something could be taken out of context. But we do not support Taylor Taranto's actions at all whatsoever.
That's right.
Well, we appreciate that, Barry, and we know that you guys in there, we know that you are loyal to us, but we don't want you ever to get in any trouble over anything that goes on out here. We don't want to cause any grief for you guys. So, whatever you feel that you have to say, or at times do, please don't get yourselves in any trouble.
And that's absolutely, and that's another thing that I wanted to clarify. We definitely have our beliefs, our political views, and words are just words. But this individual took action. Clearly, Mr. Taranto is a very mentally disturbed individual, and that day was no different. He began to spaz out with a pen in his hand, and certain steps were taken to make sure that nobody lost an eye or nobody was hurt. Nobody went above and beyond that. He did not sustain any injury whatsoever at all. And another one of his Antifa buddies, who we've known was a member of Antifa, and I will say his name. His name is Timothy Boner. He came to his rescue, and now I'm now labeled the boner killer. But
Boner killer.
So yeah, I got the new nickname, Boner Killer. But that was, again, I'm not gonna stand there and do nothing while my brothers are at risk from some lunatic.
Some boner.
It's most important. It's most important that I get out there to the public that take all this aside. We will never condone an individual, or embrace, for that matter, an individual that decides that they're going to show up with weapons to any politician's house, especially an ex-president of the United States, whether we agree with his politics or not. It's just not who we are.
Noted. Heard loud and clear. Thank you.
That's awesome, Barry. Thank you so much for calling and filling us in on, just some of the things that happen in there. And, there's a lot of speculation, and there's always tons of rumors that fly around when things like this happen. So it's always good to get clarification from people that, were actually there and,
and know what happened.
And know what happened,
And again, we weren't mistreated on this situation by the DC jail or the faculty, we'll call them. They had to investigate. They had to do something about it. We weren't put in any danger. We were taken to a different unit for a couple days, and we were allowed back with the rest of the guys after they did whatever they had to do. But, those two individuals are removed from the unit and are no longer here with us. And that's all we ever wanted to. Yeah, that's all we ever wanted in the first place. And for Taylor's, I don't want to call it defense, but the reality of it is we could clearly see he's a mental case, and he needed to be in a psychiatric, surrounding to, protect him and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I do definitely think that he was in your pod by design. Just a lot of the surrounding circumstances don't add up to what normally happens in the DC jail. So,
You're 100% accurate, and I'd say the most valid point to that is that when we talk to the shift captain and the lieutenant, I'm not sure if those are exactly their titles, but for argument's sake, they were the higher ups for our unit. They agreed with us 100%. When they went to their higher ups to respect the chain of command of trying to get Mr. Taranto removed, they were met with a hard no from their superiors, and they found it a bit confusing as well. So to your point, that's exactly how we felt. That we do know a federal judge ordered him specifically to be in this unit, and when the officers that are in charge of that normally tried to solidify it and make him leave the unit, they were told no, they can't do that by their superiors. So that's very telling, in my opinion. And the fact that they had him locked down for 4 days away from us, just to let him out one day randomly to roam, and he was willing to do that, I definitely agree with you that there's more to the story than we know about. So, yeah, very strange situation.
There is a part of the penal code here in D.C. about inciting violence that I think should be looked at closely, because, first of all, I think that police officers incited violence on January 6th. That's just my personal opinion. Nobody has to really care about it, but that's what I think.
I care about it too.
Well, I think we have proof of that now.
I think we do. I think there is enough proof already been put on the record in many court cases over and over and over again.
4 murders and some beatings.
4 murders and some beatings later, But I also think that some of the things that happen inside the jail and out here on the corner are by design, and they are meant to incite violence. I don't understand why none of the officers in this town know that penal code. I think it's 1322. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But it's something close to that, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, you raised a very, very valid point. So, yeah, we definitely had a weird situation here. Alicia Powell on the Gateway Pundit, along with Mel Holly, contributed to Sean Whitman from the Gateway Pundit. They did a good piece, at least getting the facts out to the American people as what exactly occurred. I would refer anyone to go look at their articles. I think his name is Sean Whitman.
Yeah,
that did the first article, and Mel Holly contributed. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate depiction of what happened for sure. There was a lot of weird factors in this situation that allowed it to get to the point that it got to, and his behavior definitely seemed like there was something more that he was aware of.
Right.
Just the fact that he was charged so many times. My fiance was able to find multitude of media stories and articles about him all the way back to 2001 about erratic, crazy behavior.
Okay, altered.
That's just very strange. And I think, the fact that he was in front of an elementary school on a bullhorn yelling at kids to evacuate because a white supremacy attack was about to occur, that's definitely something Antifa does all over the country when they cause chaos and do their little thing. They're always blaming it on non-existent white supremacy.
Right.
So,
I was told that was an evacuation drill that was planned for that school for that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he was there with his bullhorn. I know there's video that it's they talk about it on the news, I just, it's very strange. Mr. Taranto has very strange aura around him as far as the media is concerned, and I would definitely like to know more. But he's a very strange individual. Again, he went completely, for lack of better terminology here, he went ape shit for no reason. And you know, again, these guys just did what they had to do to avoid being hurt with his pen.
Right. Well, you know, a pen can be a deadly weapon. You could put somebody's eye out like that.
Yeah.
And if you could shove it straight into their brain.
You can kill somebody.
You got J6ers that got 111Bs for farting in the direction of officers, so I don't, you know, you pretty much come up with a 111B for anything these days. Well, unless you're far left, then, you know, you can shoot somebody in the head and it's not a 111B.
Well, it is very interesting that his January 6th charges are only the 4 misdemeanor charges of being on the grounds, you know, basically the being on restricted ground charges, but he doesn't have charges of being inside the Capitol. He doesn't have assault charges. He doesn't have any other charges.
And the fact that he's in close proximity to Mr. John Sullivan multiple times throughout the day says a lot to me as well.
Well, I mean, he handed his cane to another person that then used the cane as a weapon and assaulted other people. And that person has been charged, but Taylor has not been charged with that crime.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, there's all kind of different things like that, you know, and
there's a lot of interesting stuff going on around him.
Yes, and the fact that he wound it up here, that situation took place. Some of the rhetoric coming out of his mouth was extreme.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I'm not even going to repeat some of the nasty and disgusting things he said, but you know, it's in the article. People can read it, and you know, again, that's we held our ground. We didn't do anything more than had to be done. We didn't beat anybody down or anything like that, even though that's what one individual here that labeled him a real patriot and took defense to him, in my opinion, so they can try to grift. But I'll digress. But that was our 1 minute warning. I'm really hoping the new nickname Boner Killer doesn't stick, but so far no luck there.
Yeah, it probably is going to stick, Barry. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Boner Killer.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. God bless the UNC. I'll catch you all on the flip side.
God bless you, Barry.
First time I'm at it, he tried to stab me with an American flag.
Interesting.